Hello, welcome to the live. So, it's been a while. So today is going to be a book haul from Lido Village Books, which is here in Orange County. It's in the Lido Village area of Newport Beach. So, the books I got are these. So I'm going to go through them. What I did was I pretty much had emailed them and asked if they take special book orders. It is a small local bookstore. So I placed an order and pretty quickly, actually within a few weeks, they had all the books ready. So I went and picked them up last week. So if you see a bookmark or tabs, it's because I started reading some of these books like the next day after I got them. So I'll go through and just briefly describe the books that I got in case you're interested in checking them out for yourself. And they also have an Instagram. I believe it's Lido Village Books as well. So you can also check out their Instagram so you can support a local bookstore. So I got 6 books. So the first one, you may have seen it. It's this one, Set Boundaries, Find Peace, A Guide to Reclaiming Yourself by Nedra Tawwab. Not sure if I'm pronouncing that right. I follow her on Instagram. She is a therapist, I believe in the East Coast. Where are you? No, the South. Sorry, Charlotte, North Carolina. So I've actually been waiting for this book since I follow her on Instagram. I knew that she had a book coming out. She has really, really good posts about relationships and like trauma. And this is, of course, on boundaries. So I started reading it, as you can tell. It says healthy boundaries. We all know we should have them in order to achieve work-life balance, cope with toxic people, and enjoy rewarding relationships with partners, friends, and families. But what do healthy boundaries really mean? And how can we successfully express our needs, say no, and be assertive? So this book is amazing. Like what I've read already, it's more than like Boundaries 101. It's actually within the realm of books that I like, where there's different activities at the end of each chapter, so you can do reflections or think about like how you're going to kind of problem solve the boundaries that you would like to set in different areas of your life, whether it's relationship, work, social media. That was an interesting one. Friends, romantic relationships, all that. So reading this, and this will definitely be on the reading wrap up for sure. Okay. So that's set boundaries. Okay. The next one, is What Doesn't Kill You? A Life with Chronic Illness, Lessons from a Body in Revolt by Tessa Miller. So I started reading this. Look at that cover. So this is essentially the story of Tessa's experience with Crohn's disease, which is, I mean, I'm more than halfway through, and the descriptions, I mean, if you want to know what it's like to live with chronic pain that is so severe, this is a really, really interesting read. So she's a journalist. So it says the riveting account of a young journalist's awakening to chronic illness, weaving together personal story and reporting to shed light on living with an ailment forever. And that's the hard part about chronic pain, chronic illness is it's chronic, meaning that it's not temporary, it's not going to go away. So she is very upfront and forthcoming with her experience, like medically, relationships, everything. And then interestingly, this was newly released, so there is some bits too about like, you know, during the pandemic as well. So this is highly interesting. Let's see what else. From her dramatic personal experiences into a frank look at the cultural realities, medical, occupational, social, inherent in receiving a lifelong diagnosis. Okay. So this will probably also be on the reading wrap up. So that's What Doesn't Kill You by Tessa Miller. The next one, if you are a bookstagrammer, book lover, live in a bookstore, you've definitely seen this cover, because I have. This is definitely an Instagram made me buy it book. And this is Yolk by Mary H.K. Choi. Look at that cover. Isn't that amazing? And what I didn't know until I picked it up was that the hands. So this one is about June is 3 years. Jane and June are nothing alike. June is 3 years older, a classic firstborn narc with a vile finance job and a soulless apartment. Jane, on the other hand, is an emotionally stunted, self-obsessed crybaby who lives in squalor, has a gregarious taste in men, and needs to get her ass to class. Once thick as thieves, these sisters who moved from Seoul to San Antonio and finally New York don't want anything to do with each other until June, one of the sisters, gets cancer, and Jane becomes the only one who can help her. Flung together by sickness and bound by family secrets, will the sisters learn more about themselves and each other than they're willing to confront? So, once I finish this one, I'll be definitely reading this one. I've heard amazing, amazing things about this book. And so I'm super, super excited to read it, especially since it is an Asian American author. Yay. So that is Yolk. The next one I've had on my TBR for a while. And I'm super, super excited for this, especially being a therapist. And this book, Polysecure, Attachment, Trauma, and Consensual Non-Monogamy by Jessica Fern. So this combines those that are polyamorous and attachment theory together. And this is written by a therapist who is a polyamorous psychotherapist. So attachment theory has entered the mainstream, but most discussions focus on how we can cultivate secure monogamous relationships. What if, like many people, you're striving for secure, happy attachments with more than one partner? Polyamorous psychotherapist Jessica Fern breaks new ground by extending attachment theory into the realm of consensual non-monogamy. Using her nested model of attachment and trauma, she expands our understanding of how these emotional experiences influence our relationships. Then she sets out 6 specific strategies to help you move towards secure attachments in your multiple relationships. So I thought this was really, really interesting. Very, very important topic as well. And it's also important because it's inclusive, because not everyone has monogamous relationships. So heard a lot about this. I heard great things about this. And like I said, it's been on my TBR for a while. So I'm super excited to read it. Okay. The next one is probably one of the most stunning covers, like book covers, I've ever seen. This is also a new release, and it is this. Fire Keeper's Daughter. Keep the Secret, Live the Lie, Earn Your Truth by Angeline Boulley. Not sure I pronounce it. So I didn't realize how big this book is too. I know I got a hardcover, but this is like a big book. Anyway, so I'm really excited for this one because it says 18-year-old Donis Fontaine has never quite fit in, both in her hometown and on the nearby Ojibwe reservation. She dreams of a fresh start at college, but when family tragedy strikes, Donis puts her future on hold to look after her fragile mother. The only bright spot is meeting Jamie, the charming new recruit on her brother Levi's hockey team. Yet even as Donis falls for Jamie, she senses the dashing hockey star is hiding something. Everything comes to light when Donis witnesses a shocking murder, thrusting her into an FBI investigation of a new lethal drug. Reluctantly, Donis agrees to go undercover, drawing on her knowledge of chemistry and traditional medicine to track down the source. So super excited for this because this is it's different than what I usually read. I believe this is more kind of like, I don't know if it'd be like thriller, mystery. It's definitely outside of what I usually read. But I'm really excited because it's a Native American, Indigenous story. So super, super excited. What does it look like without the cover? Oh, that's interesting. It's like a little fire. But yeah, so I'm excited about this. If you're a bookstagram or book lover, I'm sure you've seen this cover because it is everywhere and it is like absolutely stunning. So I'm super, super excited to read this. The last one, I didn't put with the special order, but of course I can't just like go in a bookstore and like walk out. I like looked around for like 30 minutes. So I came across this other book that I added to my purchase, and it was quite interesting. Gone to the Woods, Surviving a Lost Childhood by Gary Paulsen. So I guess Gary's a really well-known, like long-time like children's writer. I've never read his books though. I think there's one with like a frog or like a boat. So I guess he does a lot of stories that have to do with like outdoors and wilderness, but there's also some sort of challenge or struggle. So this is interesting, and it piqued my curiosity because it's his story. So his name equals High Stakes Wilderness Adventures, probably because that's the books he's written. Now acclaimed writer Gary Paulsen weaves an altogether different story of survival, the true account of how he himself survived his own turbulent childhood. If not for his shocking summer escape from a neglectful Chicago upbringing to a Northwoods homestead at age 5, there never would have been a Hatchet. So that's the other book, Hatchet. Without the encouragement of the librarian who handed him his first book at age 13, he may never have become a reader. And without his desperate teenage enlistment in the military, he may not have discovered his true calling as a storyteller. An entrancing account of grit and growing up, perfect for newcomers and lifelong fans alike. This is the famed author and his rawest, most real. So I thought that was really interesting. So he's written Hatchet, Dog Song. Why can't I pronounce anything today? Dog Song, The Winter Room. So that's him. Cool cover too. Love it. So this is Gone to the Woods. So I guess like an interesting like sort of memoir backstory. So these are the books I got. If you hopped on here late, or if you're watching the replay and want to see the stack, are these. Okay. And I'm definitely going to work on my pronunciation. It's important to be able to pronounce names correctly, and I need to do that better. So I'm going to work on that and read these books. I'm almost done with 2 of them, so I'm sure these will be on the reading wrap-up. This month's reading wrap-up will be a combo of last month and this month. Apologies, sorry for all the lives that just last month that didn't happen, although it was 2. It was like the reading wrap-up, and then I was going to do one on bipolar disorder books for clinicians. Even in the world of social media, life happens, and I had to handle some things in personal life. So the 2 lives from last month are going to be rescheduled, and so like I said, the reading wrap up for this month will be this month and last month, and then I will set a future date for the bipolar books for clinicians because I have some good ones. So thanks for being patient with me. Although I haven't been MIA, because I've still been posting all the podcast episodes. And if you haven't, definitely listen to the last 2. The last one I had was Suzanne Park, who wrote Loathe at First Sight. That was a really fun interview. Like, she is so wonderful. There's a lot of really great life experiences, and is like hilarious. So that was a really fun one to record. And of course, the one before that was the collaboration I did with New Sons with Kiku Hughes for her graphic graphic novel. It's like based off of it's like part memoir, part fiction, Displacement. And that was a really, really cool collaboration to do. New Sons, definitely check them out if you haven't. It's newsonsbox.com. So I collaborated with them a few months ago for their mental health books, and I gave them a few. I helped them curate a few of the book selections, and Kiko's was one of them. So it was great to have her on and work with New Sons, who are both, Gina and Ren are wonderful. So definitely check those out. And yeah, come back for the reading wrap up, which is, I believe, the 30th. The last day of this month will be the reading wrap up. So definitely have an interesting collection of books for you. And as always, if you have any book suggestions, books you would like me to read or want to know about, like what my thoughts are on it, definitely comment below or send me a DM, whichever. And then if I haven't read it, I'll read it. And who knows? Could end up on the podcast. This 2021 is going how I planned it to go for the podcast, which is to have predominantly authors. So there will be another episode in May that I'm looking forward to, and then I'm going to start rounding up authors and guests for summertime. Okay, so hopefully this was enjoyable or helpful. Maybe it helped you find your next read. And yeah, take care. Have a good rest of the week.